My name is Alfredo García and I am Professor of Highway Engineering at the UPV. I am going to present how ethics intervene in the development of research activities, starting with the general concept that distinguishes between acceptable and unacceptable behavior. Moreover, when a specific problem arises in the progress of research, the moral acceptability and appropriateness of a specific conduct and the corresponding actions will be presented. This is the content of this lesson, starting with the learning outcomes. Later, an introduction on the general concept of ethics and on the ethics in the research activities are presented. The third section includes all the possible misconduct that can be developed by researchers. Section 4 describes some issues related to the professional responsibility. Part 5 includes the main policies to be taken into account to improve research ethics. In this lesson, we will attempt to obtain 4 learning outcomes: to be awareness of the ethical dimension of research, to understand the importance of a good research, to know some international codes of research ethics, and finally, to conduct an ethical review of research. Ethics lets people distinguish between acceptable and unacceptable behavior. Research ethics aim to resolve specific problems that can arise during research activities by 2 ways: determining the moral acceptability and appropriateness of a specific conduct and establishing the actions that researchers ought to take in particular situations. Therefore, research ethics should firstly be applied to oneself and to be also aware to other researchers or external agents' behavior. Research is a progress that is done on behalf of society in collaboration with many colleagues and within a research institution or company. The achieved findings and knowledge must be shared and used by others. Research is usually supported through public or private funds. Research matters because it is judged to be important by expert peers. Therefore, research ethics is absolutely necessary. Responsible conduct in research requires both compliance and ethics. Compliance means researchers follow the rules established by the governments, funding agencies, and the researchers' institution that include the minimum acceptable ethical behavior in research. Non-compliance results in research misconduct. Ethics mean a responsible behavior toward human, animal, society, and ecosystem. Therefore, ethics goes beyond that as simply following the rules. In this figure, you can observe the main ethical values that should shape the appropriate character of researchers. There are some misconduct, such as fabrication, falsification, plagiarism, misappropriation, and other forms. Fabrication is the act of inventing or making up data or results and then reporting them as part of the research record. Competition may tempt people into fabrication. Falsification is the intentional alteration or presentation of original finding in a way which distorts the result, such as, for example, to omit some anomalous results or outlier data. Plagiarism is the appropriation of another person's ideas, processes, results, or words without giving appropriate credit. Internet makes plagiarism even easier than it used to be, cutting and pasting, but Internet also makes coaching plagiarists easier. Misappropriation is similar to plagiarism, but it is an intellectual theft. A researcher illicitly presents or uses in his or her own name an original research idea, plan, or finding disclosed to him or her in confidence. There are many other forms of misconduct, such as violation of confidential peer review of paper or projects, self-plagiarism, that is the publication of the same results several times as new, and etc. The professional responsibility as a researcher includes to comply with ethical codes and good practices in research, to promote research ethics and responsible conduct in research and in data management, to provide information about every research misconduct, conflict of interest, etc. Ethical responsibility is not only a personal matter because it encompasses our moral obligation to include the willingness to engage others in the difficult work of defining the decisive choices that confront technological society. Ethical research conduct implies the application of fundamental ethical principles and legislation to scientific research in all possible fields of research. Ethics is given the highest priority in funded research, and all the activities must comply with ethical principles and relevant national, European, and international legislation. Codes of ethics are codes of professional responsibility intended to serve as a guide to everyday professional conduct. Some ethical principles that codes address are honesty, objectivity, integrity, carefulness, openness, respect for intellectual property, confidentiality, responsible publication, responsible mentoring, respect for colleagues, social responsibility, non-discrimination, competence, legality, animal care and human subjects protection. There may be research ethics committees for the ethical review of research proposals in universities, institutes, etc. Horizon 2020 assists you in getting your research proposal ethics ready for obtaining funding following a self-assessment checklist. Publishers are developing mechanisms to enforce publishing ethics. Finally, when collaborating with the researchers from other geographical regions, it is necessary to be aware of different ethical principles according to different cultures and value systems. There could be different priorities in values. In conclusion, you should be able to know and encourage ethics in your research activities, starting always with your own self-assessment. Please do not forget, ethics goes beyond that of simply following the rules.